Another thing that's different, because in the last years we talked a lot about malware, and we thought that this time we don't only want to talk about malware, we also want to talk about the user, who is obviously not so unimportant when it comes to our products. So the modern computer user, as we know him, he knows that there are millions of malware samples out there. He knows that he needs antivirus software, and of course he knows that it could be dangerous to open email attachments. And the problem is that this modern computer user is not representative for all computer users out there, though we would hope so. But truth is a bit different. Now the numbers we see here are taken from a report from German television. And you can see here who's using the internet. You see, of course, like you would expect, a lot of young people are using the internet, more than 95%. And not so many people who are older than 60 years. So just by looking at those numbers, you would guess, okay, there are a lot of young users and just a very small number of old users. However, since there are a lot of older people living in Germany, reality looks a bit different. So you see, it's 5.2 million users who are older than 60 years and only 4.9 internet users who are younger than 20 years. So it's really obvious that maybe we should take a closer look at people who are a bit older and at people who are maybe not so experienced yet, or who just like to experiment more. So here you can see in the green zone, these are the users where we would guess they grew up with computers, but they also had time to learn about the dangers. Most of them were maybe, if they used computers at work, they have maybe met Melissa or Love You or similar popular computer worms that hit the internet at the beginning of 2000. And then you have the young ones that like to play, that likes to experiment, and you have a lot of, well, probably newcomers who just use the computer because they're interested, they want to see what's going on there. Or maybe they have to use it for their work. So to summarize it, about 60% of the users probably had enough time for training, but 40% are what we would call a high-risk group. And this means that we have to think about how they perceive security and how we can reach them. So let's first take a look at the users between 14 and 19 years. They like to play with new tools and technology. They say, well, I have nothing to lose. I don't do online banking. I just want to play around. I just want to download some games. They are usually highly attracted to social networks, Twitter, Facebook, and co. And well, of course, a lot of them say, well, I cannot afford an original Photoshop license, so this is why I download it, because I need to use Photoshop because I'm almost a graphical professional. So this excuse is just too expensive, that's why I download it. We know it's very old, but of course now it's more dangerous than ever just to download stuff from the internet. And then users who are older than 50 years, well, maybe they're more cautious because they know in principle that the internet can be a dangerous place. And maybe they're afraid they could break something because they're not so experienced. So from my experience, when you talk to people who are a bit older and who use computers, they tend to say, I'm afraid that I break something. And I mean, young people say it's the computer's fault. They say it's my fault. So this is the difference. Sometimes they're forced to use computers if they want to keep their job, because nowadays, if you work in an office and you don't know how to use a computer, that's a problem. And they have higher income than young internet users, and of course, this makes them more attractive to malware authors if they're users of online banking. So this is something that works. This is called rook or rook malware or scareware. This is a scanner that pretends to be a virus scanner, a real one. And usually it works like this. So you visit a website and then there's a pop-up saying your computer is infected with 15 Trojans. And you think, wow, how can that be? I have a antivirus solution. It should protect me. And now they tell me my computer is infected. So they download this trial software. They run it. And yes, it says your computer is infected. We see here a number of of malware names. And now they want to disinfect their computer. They get the message, well, disinfection is possible, but not with the free version. You have to buy the full license, which costs about like the same price as the Kaspersky product. So if they buy it, if they buy the license, if they buy the license key, the program will then tell the people, okay, everything is good now, don't worry, your computer is clean. Actually, they are not really protected, but they feel secure. We even heard of cases where Kaspersky users met such software. Then they wanted to install it, and the software was deleted because we detected it as malicious. Some of those groups who develop such software even have own support hotlines. So the customer called the hotline, which was in Ukraine, and he said, I have this, I want to install your software, but my Kaspersky scanner does not allow me to do that. And he got the answer, of course it doesn't allow it. Don't you know that you can only run one antivirus solution at a time? Otherwise, your computer will be unstable. So thanks to this nice support person, our customer got support and got the instructions how to remove Kaspersky so that this software could be installed. And this shows that if an attack is just good enough, if the social engineering works good enough, people will uninstall their working antivirus solution. This is also something where I would say that unexperienced internet users will easily be afraid. This is a screenshot, so we mentioned it a couple of times. It's GP code, a Trojan that will encrypt a lot of your files. If you want to buy the decryptor, you have to contact the malware author. Now, if you get such a message, a lot of people will be shocked and they will think, oh, wow, this is private, this is directly against me. And they tend to pay just to get the data back. And this just as a third example, it's a phishing website. Now, the funny thing about this is it looks like the Bank of America, but as you can see in the URL, it's the server of the Sri Lanka Air Force. This does not mean, of course, that Sri Lanka Air Force is now into online banking. It just means that they didn't secure the web server well enough. And of course, phishing attacks also still work. And the user I mentioned at the beginning, the experienced users, he will probably just look at the URL and will see, well, this looks suspicious, and that's it. But non-experienced users, they just believe it's real. And I mean, on most of those sites, you can also see security warnings like be aware of phishing websites. And they think, okay, if it warns about phishing website, it's probably not a phishing website.